Hi, everybody. Ken Crosson with Piedmont Injury Law. We're a personal injury law firm in Marietta and Kennesaw, and today I'm going to talk to you about uninsured and underinsured motorist coverage, what it is, where you can get it, why you want to have it, and how you use it. So everybody who drives a car in Georgia is required to have liability coverage in case they hit somebody and cause damages. The limit that you're required to have is at least $25,000 in coverage. But if you've ever been into a hospital, you know that $25,000 isn't going to get you very far if you actually have a serious injury. If somebody hits you and they only have $25,000 in coverage and you have a significant injury, their coverage is not going to extend to cover all of your damages. Fortunately, there's something called uninsured or underinsured motorist coverage. We just refer to it as coverage. And it steps in and creates an additional layer of protection that you can use if somebody hits you and does not have enough insurance to cover the damages that they cause. If you have a car insurance policy in Georgia, you should have been offered the option of purchasing coverage on top of the liability and collision and comprehensive coverages that you might also have. If you don't have it, or if you're not sure if you have it, go ahead and talk to your car insurance agent and make sure that you do. Make sure that your limits on the liability side are high enough, and you can probably figure out from your own financial situation what high enough limits are, and then make sure that your limits match your liability limits. Personally, if I were driving around out there, I wouldn't want to have less than $300,000 or $500,000 in coverage, knowing that if somebody hits me, I'm going to have at least that much financial protection to take care of myself and to take care of my family. We see this all the time in our practice, where people get rear-ended or T-boned at an intersection and end up in the hospital. They have an ambulance ride to pay for, they have a hospitalization to pay for, then they have follow-up care with orthopedists and neurologists and neurosurgeons and physical therapists and medical bills that mount up into the tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars. And if the person who caused all that damage only has a $25,000 or a $50,000 or even a $100,000 policy, it might not be enough to cover the damages that you sustain, including those medical expenses, your lost income, your pain and suffering, and the long-term consequences that you have to deal with because you got hurt. But you have the option of putting in place that layer of protection that can take care of all of those things for you if you do it in advance. Now, sometimes we have clients come to us who already have coverage, but they're hesitant to make a claim because they're worried about their coverage being canceled or their rates being raised because of the claim. Well, first of all, I would never recommend that you make a claim unless you legitimately need to use the coverage. That coverage is in place for a reason, and it's there to protect you because the damages you've suffered, the impact on your life, the lost income, the medical expenses, and all those other costs exceed what you're able to recover from the insurance policy that protects the person who hurt you. Second, though, there's also a statute in Georgia that prohibits an insurance carrier from raising rates or canceling coverage because of an accident that wasn't your fault. Sometimes insurance companies try to do that anyway, and we have successfully pushed back against that kind of retaliation against our clients. So now that you've watched this, I'm going to ask you to do a couple of things. First, I want you to look at your auto insurance policy and make sure that you have enough coverage to protect yourself and your family. You cannot count on the other guy to do the right thing, and you don't want to leave yourself vulnerable in case somebody comes along and hurts you and messes up your life. If you don't have the coverage, talk to your insurance agent and make sure that you have the protection in place that you need. And finally, if you or a family member or a loved one or a neighbor or a coworker gets injured and needs a strong law firm to work on their behalf, give us a call.